cliche, it will be a very big day on the track. However, the events of last night mean we start this day on a very somber note. Hello to you. That is the Quicken Loans ESPN Pit Studio. Inside, I am Nicole Briscoe alongside Rusty Wallace and Brad Doherty. Tony Stewart was involved in an accident last night while racing at Canandaigua Speedway, which is about an hour north from here. He was not hurt in that accident. However, another driver involved was killed. Now, I have a warning. The video you are about to see is incredibly graphic. Again, this was last night at Canandaigua Speedway. Stewart is in the 14 car, and 20-year-old Kevin Ward Jr. is on the outside in the 13 car. The car being driven by Ward, as you see, gets into the wall. Now watch carefully. Inside the car, Ward starts to unbuckle. As we see many times, drivers get upset. They climb out of the car, as does Ward here. He walks down the track to confront Stewart, who's in the car. The first car you will see is the 45. He will swerve to miss Ward. The next car you see is Stewart's 14. Ward is clipped by the right rear tire of Stewart's car. Ward was taken to the hospital and he was pronounced dead on arrival. Kevin Ward Jr. was 20 years old from Port Lane, New York. He started racing when he was just 4 years old and has been racing the 13 car in the Empire Super Sprint Circuit for the last 5 years. In a second, we will be joined by Mike Massaro, who is live from Canandaigua Speedway. He will update us on the investigation. But first, the comments from the police on the investigation. Now, this was at 3 o'clock this morning.
Mr. Stewart has, again, fully cooperated with the police officers that are investigating. He was visibly shaken by this incident and has promised his continuing cooperation in this investigation.
What type of investigation is this at this point?
Right now, this is an on-track crash investigation that we will continue. We have, and not to make any inferences that one way or another, but the district attorney's office has been notified. When this investigation is completed, we will review it with them, but I do want to caution so that there's no inferences drawn. At this time, this is an ongoing investigation of an on-track crash.
After last night's accident, we are told Tony Stewart did come back to the track here at Watkins Glen. However, he is no longer at the track. Now, earlier today, the decision was made by Stewart and the Stewart Haas Racing Organization that Stewart will not race today. And Vice President of Competition Greg Zipadelli released this statement earlier today.
It's just an unbelievable tragedy. Our hearts go out to obviously Kevin and his family. Thoughts and prayers. This is a very tough, very emotional time for everybody. With that being said, we feel that as a group, Tony will not drive today. Regan Smith is on his way up. NASCAR has approved for him to get in the race car today. We talked last night, and then realizing, going through the night, gave Tony some time to sleep on it, and met with him this morning, and he feels strongly this is the right thing to do. We at SHR support it and agree with it. Like I said, it's a difficult time for both parties.
We did receive this statement from Stewart's sprint car team, Tony Stewart Racing. A tragic accident took place last night during a sprint car race in which Tony Stewart was participating. Tony was unhurt, but a fellow competitor lost his life. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. We are still attempting to sort through all the details, and we appreciate your understanding during this difficult time. Dale Jarrett joins us now from the booth. You are very good friends with Tony Stewart, and you are one of the very few people who have actually spoken to him, and that happened this morning. What can you tell us about that conversation?
Nicole, I did speak to Tony as a friend, and my conversation with Tony was just to let him know that he had many friends like myself and an entire community that was thinking about Tony. He is in our thoughts and our prayers, and that we all love and support him. We all go through challenges in our life. We don't know why sometimes that these challenges are put in front of us and face us, but that he had all of us to lean on in a most difficult time. And I'm fortunate to call Tony Stewart a good friend, and I was honored that he would take a little bit of time to be there, and I could be there with him this morning, just as a friend, wanting to know that I am here if there's anything that I can do.
Earlier in the day, when the day began, the thought was that Tony was going to still be in the car and racing today. Obviously, that is no longer the case. Can you tell us how that decision was made to step aside?
No, it was basically Tony's decision that he did that, and I think after you think about things, that you realize that this is the right thing, and that was the last thing that I told Tony, other than that I loved him like a brother, that he made the right decision. He didn't need my reassurance. He knew that he made the right decision, and it was the only decision. And Tony Stewart is that type of person, and showed that once again.
Dale Jarrett, thank you very much. Again, Regan Smith will be in the car today for Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart will not race at 11:55 this morning. That is when Rick Hendrick's chopper touched down here at Watkins Glen. Regan Smith flew in with Mr. H from North Carolina, helmet in hand. He will be in that 14 car today. More from Watkins Glen when we come back.